people can hear me right now. Oh, okay, and I am live. Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of Sound Booth Theater Live Requests Only. My name is Justin Thomas James, and you might notice that things look a little different. For some reason, my camera doesn't want to go widescreen, even though it's fully capable of that. I don't know if it's OBS's problem or if it's my camera's problem or what. But, yeah, it doesn't want to do it. So I'm doing it in this ratio. And I think I'm slightly off center. That's probably going to bother a lot of people, but I apologize. Hello, everybody. As you might have noticed, I am not Jeff Hayes. Jeff is taking a break. He's got his feet up. He's just relaxing, and I'm running shit today. So if that's cool with you, I'm gonna read some stuff. Before I get to it, though, hello to you individually, personally. If you are watching this on YouTube, which is the only place that it is available to watch, say hello. Say hello in the chat. We got a few people here. We have Chinese text. Is this Chinese text? Anyways, there's a fellow saying hello at the top. We have Gary Simmons. We have Ashley Hooper. And we have R.K. Billiau, which is a French name, I do believe. Or maybe it's pronounced Billiau. R.K. Billiau. We got, Gary Simmons is saying hello. It looks fine on portrait or landscape. Okay, we're good. All right, and also let me know if the audio is sounding fine. I think I need to update my OBS. I think that's the problem. I'm running a copy that I updated my computer since, and for whatever reason, the icon doesn't show up. Everything is kind of a little gnarly. Just let me know if the audio is sounding okay. I'm like a caveman. Like video, likes good for channel. I'm sorry if you're a caveman. I know that's very offensive. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're into this sort of thing. It's great to be here. It's great to be back. It's been a while since I've done a Sound Booth Theater Live. Oh, we got Jesse Grandchamp. Hello, Jesse. This is the portion of the show where I just shout at anybody who is in the chat. So jump in the chat, say hello, get your name spoked on air. The pronunciation of that Chinese name is Wang Yu. Oh, well, there we go. Now I know. Thank you, Wang Yu. Thank you for joining. And now I know some Chinese. Wang Yu. And it looks like, okay, so I don't know how to read that script. Oh, or Garfield. I'll call you. If you prefer Garfield, I'll call you Garfield. Welcome, Garfield. I've learned, I recently learned, I got a review. I'm Canadian, eh? And I got a review that said that I need Jeff Hayes to teach me how to talk, which I absolutely loved. And one of the little criticisms that I got on a book was that I pronounced R like Like, if I were to just to say the word hard, it's a little bit like hard. But apparently I'm supposed to pronounce it hard to sound more American. Hard. So Garfield. Crossfire. Can't stay long. Oh, hey, Crossfire. About to leave work. Oh. All right, well, people happy. People got their vapes. Montgomery is from Gunmeister. Yes. Montgomery is from Gunmeister. Foghorn Leghorn. Montgomery is from Gunmeister. That's right. I'm not quite getting it. That's Hard to get that accent sometimes, but okay. Hey, Mike Fazio's here. Hardy har har. Welcome, Mike. We have a little bit of an Invictus Sound Booth Theater crossover. If you are interested in role-playing games, I'm also a member of something called the Invictus Stream. And every Wednesday night, we live stream role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, Call of Cthulhu. We did a Shadowrun campaign, Dragon Age, all of these, various games. Check that out. And we have a live play podcast that is available. You can download it on iTunes and all that stuff. And yeah, check that out. It's called Dice Shame. But that's where Mike Fazio is from. So we have a lot of people watching, and I think I'm just going to get started. We're reading I'm doing all the work. I'm reading Shadowsun Rebellion by Dave Willmarth. A little bit of PrimeVerse, Forced Login by R.K. Billiau. And from a book that has yet to be released, War Aeturnus 5, people. It's not even out yet. And we're getting content from Charles Dean. He's blessed us with his content. So I'm going to be reading a little bit of that. I'm taking responsibility. And I'm not Jeff, so my voices are going to sound different than what Jeff did. It's just the way it is. Who knows? Maybe you'll like them better. All right. So what am I going to start with? I guess I should. Uh-oh. And here we go. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the emails, and it looks like it sounded like I was talking a little too loudly for my mic, so I'm just going to tone it down a little bit. I get excited when I'm on stream. You know how it is. Okay, so we'll start with some Shadowsun Rebellion. Dave Willmarth. Is Dave Willmarth in the house? Oh, by the way, I need to say that I realized too late after posting it that I'd spelt War Aeturnus on the Facebook post that I did. I spelt War Aeturnus where Aeturnus. And then I changed it in YouTube afterwards, but it was already too late. Facebook had dug in its claws and didn't want to let go of that name. So in case you're confused, I'm reading from War Aeturnus, not Where Aeturnus. But not right now. That's we're going to save that for later. So this is going to be from Shadowsun Rebellion. What do we have? We got about 6 pages here. I know. People confuse me and Jeff all the time. They say we look absolutely identical. The height, the skin tone, the voice. Yep. All right. What do we got here? Let's do this. I really hope I get to voice, what's his name? I haven't read War Aeturnus yet, but I know that Miller, who has an Arnold accent. Yeah, he's got an Arnold accent. Maybe I should just narrate as Arnold this whole time. Yeah, that would be nice. I think you like Arnold. All right. Dave Willmarth's Shadowsun Rebellion. So, this is the first scene. I don't know if he's given me any direction on this. Let's find out. Shadowsun Rebellion. No, it doesn't look like there's any direction. So I'm going to find out. I'm just going to read into it. And if I do the voices wrong, I'm not. So this is actually narrated by, the first in the series, rather, is narrated by Will Watt. Obviously, he's going to be doing he's working on the second book. Second book, actually, he's finished narrating. We're just adding voices and editing. And he'll be doing the third book as well. And this is, these characters would be voiced by him. So Me winging it. Me winging it. Is just going to be winging it. Winging it. Why can't I say that? Winging it. Winging it. All right, here we go. The three airmen had raided the still that night to try and drown their feelings and forget, if only for a little while. "I'm telling you, this shall be easy," Goodrich said for the fourth or fifth time. "She's practically tame now." McCoy shook his head, the action making him fall on his butt. He grinned as he heroically managed to keep from spilling a drop. "She's gonna chew your head off. I'm gonna laugh, then be very sad." He nodded his head to emphasize his point. Bjurstrom helped build him up. "Wanna bet? I say she bites his arm off first." He looked around. "We should get a healer. Maybe 3. McCoy continued to nod, now back on his feet, but still wobbly. "I'll go get them." Bjurstrom let him go, and he turned toward the residential area. Taking a deep breath, he screamed, "Healers! We need healers! Goody's gonna get himself bit in half!" "Shit!" Goodrich cursed as he began to run up the stairs to the top of the wall that surrounded the murder chicken area. Okay. "What? Friggin' narc! No, I got to hurry before the cops get here." Goodrich reached the top and leaped off the wall, falling flat on his face when he tried to roll with the impact. "Damn it! Spilled my drink!" he cursed as he gathered up the rope and headed toward the murder chicken pens. Murder chicken? This is great. I have not read Shadow Sun. I've listened to the first couple chapters. So I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I don't know if you guys do. But yeah, let alone have I listened to the second one, or that's not even available. So I don't know what's going on. But I do like murder chicken pens. I do like that idea. The young ones were still too small for him to ride, so he bypassed them and went straight for the broodmother. Unlocking the door to her pen, he stepped back. "Come on, Mama Murder Chicken," he said, then giggled. "Say that 3 times fast." He turned to his buddies, only then realizing that he was alone in the enclosure. Bjurstrom and McCoy were up on the wall, shouting for him to run. "Run? Why?" he shouted back. Turning back toward the pen, he saw the red glowing eyes of the mama murder chicken just inches from his face. She appeared calm, and actually looked toward his ring as if awaiting a feeding. She was smart enough to have recognized that the rings often held treats. "Shit! You scared me!" He stumbled backward a few steps. "Okay, hold still. We're gonna go for a little ride." He gathered up the looped end of his rope, holding it in both hands and preparing to toss it over her head, which was several feet above his own. "Murder Chicken Cavalry!" he shouted, flinging the rope upward. Murder Chicken Cavalry. I'm just going to move the script over so that I can read the comments too while I'm going through this, because I want to keep those comments coming. Let's see those comments. Oh, you know what? I can pop out the chat. I'm going to do that. Bear with me. Live chat. How do I pop out? Oh, I can't do it on here. That's okay, though. I'm not going to bother opening the actual YouTube. Okay, well, why are you silly? All right, this is good. Murder chicken. It does sound tasty. Hello, Frank Avila. Welcome. He scared me, flinging the rope upward. Okay, here we go. He got lucky, and the loop passed over her head, even as she jerked her head back in surprise from his shout and sudden movement. Goodrich fell backward, the throwing motion upsetting his fragile balance. He held tightly to the rope, pulling it taut as he fell, making the slip knot tighten around the brood mother's neck. And that was the point where things took an ugly turn. Even as several of the Warrens' residents appeared at the top of the wall in response to the shouts from McCoy and Bierstrom, the brood mother let out a roaring squawk that silenced everyone but Goodrich. "Hey, none of that! Shh!" He frowned at her, trying to get to his feet. The brood mother leapt free of her pen, dashing toward the indentation in the courtyard that held the giant nest. Still holding the rope, and only part way upright, Goodrich was yanked off his feet and dragged behind the powerful beast. She turned and ran toward the wall, where she saw familiar humans that had fed her since her capture. Several of them were already tossing bunny carcasses down to distract her. Reaching the treats, she came to an abrupt halt. Goodrich went rolling past her, cursing up a storm and covered in a combination of dirt, straw, and murder chicken shit. Murder chicken shit. Not so tasty anymore. What makes it? I guess murder chicken is like the actual breed of chicken. This version of chicken. I from what I know of Shadow Sun, it's the world has been altered, and so I'm imagining murder chickens are just big chickens, big fucking chickens. So yeah. Hey, speaking of murder chickens, did everyone have a good Thanksgiving? Good Thanksgiving dinner? Sounds like this chicken's about to have a good Thanksgiving dinner. Yoo-hoo! All right, here we go. People were shouting down at him. "Get out of there!" and "Jump!" were the two most common suggestions. Pushing himself back to his feet as she consumed the offered treats, Goodrich was more than a little annoyed. "Listen here, you oversized rooster. I'm all stanky now 'cause of you. We're gonna go for a ride or else." Walking toward her left side, which was the side one would normally mount a horse, he took hold of a fold of skin on her neck and tried to launch himself onto her back with one leg raised high. The moment he left the ground, her neck folded and her head shot backward. Her razor-sharp beak snapped shut, and Goodrich screamed. He fell onto his back, both hands clutched over the wound. "My junk! She bit off my junk!" Suddenly very sober, he screamed for help. A dozen citizens leaped down and began to entice the angry broodmother with more treats. She gave Goodrich a dirty look, used one claw to rake a deep gouge down his leg, then wandered off in pursuit of the offered treats. While the trainers led her back to her pen, Nancy and several others were casting heels on Goodrich. His bleeding stopped, but a quick peek through the tear in his pants confirmed that she had indeed snipped off his manhood. "Oh." Bierstrom stepped to one side and puked up all the moonshine, along with his last couple meals. A few others looked as if they might join him. Together, they lifted Goodrich and carried him out of the pen and toward the infirmary. Nancy patted his chest, saying, "Don't worry. I think the regeneration tech can, fix this. You'll be good as new in no time." Beatific? I know it's beatify. Beatific smile appeared on Goodrich's face. "The regenerator! Right on! Stupid chicken. Bit off my junk. Hey, Nancy. As long as you're growing me a new one, can you maybe make it, His voice dropped to a very loud whisper. Bigger. And scene. That is the end of scene 1. All right, let's read some of these comments. Going up a little while. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, Danny Katz is here. Hello, Danny. Yes, this is requests only. So, and Danny put together he organized all of this. So thank Danny for all his hard work and making SBTL requests only a thing. Yeah, would not be the same without him. So, now I need to read it to figure out what... you gotta read it! I want to read it just to figure out what a murder chicken... What a great hook. Oh, that might be a pun there that I might be making. It's a murder chicken is just a great hook to interest someone in reading a book. So, yeah. If you want people to read your book, be sure to include Murder Chicken at some point. But maybe ask Dave Willmarth first, because it seems like maybe he's coined that. Did he coin that? Dave, are you here? Can you confirm? What else we got? Can you get it at Murder Chick? It's only available at Popeyes. Raymond reminds me of Hell Chickens from Demon Lords. Oh, yes, there's Hell Chickens as well. Hell Chickens, Demon Chickens, and Murder Chickens. You tried to cook a turkey. You tried to cook it, Garfield? Or did it... why do you say you tried? I'm curious about how it turned out. 2 chickens, one for eating and the other just roasts every last drop of juice out to make gravy with. Oh, turkeys, not chickens. That sounds amazing. But I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving this week because I am Canadian. But I imagine you're all American. That gravy was crazy good. That chicken was looking for a tiny worm. That's funny. You're funny. Alrighty. Here comes the second scene. Again, this is Shadow Sun Rebellion by Dave Willmarth. We have a link in the chat below if you want to check out this book. If you've read the first 2 books, then this is the next one on your docket. If you have not, then I highly recommend you pick up either the ebook version of Shadow Sun Survival, which is book 1 of this series, or get the audiobook. Again, narrated by Will Watt, but it features Jeff Hayes and Andrea Parsoneau, I think, is on it as well, and Annie Ellicott. So yeah, like 4 heavy hitters, fantastically talented human beings. I highly recommend it. Okay, here comes the second scene. Chapter 3. I'm going to drink some tea. I'm going to get this thing out of my face. Sorry if I'm not going to apologize. You know what? You're going to get some plosives because I don't have my pop filter on, all right? But just deal with it, okay? Every time it sounds like I'm going to say pee, just cover your ears a little bit, or just like turn the volume down slightly and then turn it back up. With the group healed, rested, buffed, and in a good mood after looting the leprechauns, they continued on. I just want to point out how interesting a sentence that is when you have no idea what is going on. Keyword, leprechauns. That's the one that mostly surprised me. Moving on. The rest of the second level was empty, except for a literal pot of gold sitting in a corner of an open cell. About half the gold bars had apparently been converted into coins like the ones they'd looted earlier, and a cauldron big enough to cook an orcanen in sat there, filled with thousands of the things. Orcanen? Or orcanen? I'm guessing that an orcanen is like an orc in this. Is like the orc version of a murder chicken. A murder orc is an orcanen, is my guess. These will come in handy for trade, Michael observed. Easier to use than gold bars for sure, and we don't have to exchange gold for clacks at whatever rate the market is paying. Alistair agreed wholeheartedly. I'll start paying salaries with these, and using them to buy crafted goods from our people to help get them into circulation. Be nice if we could find a way to make more of them. Maybe there's a machine here? There's definitely one in Denver. It just never occurred to me to start making the coins. We'll get some people on that ASAP. Also, there's a few rooms worth of coins there, too. Gold and silver. We'll get those out right away. Leaving behind the pot of coins, the group returned to the stairwell and headed down. The level 3 door stood slightly open, blocked from closing by a pile of human bones. Amanda made a brief inspection. I think they're human, but there's only a partial skeleton here. More than half of it is missing. Likely something was feeding on it and dragged the rest away? Maybe the bees picked the bones clean? Sam offered. The others nodded. The scenario made sense. I don't know the characters. I have no idea if I'm doing these characters right. There is no direction here. But, whatever. Who should Sam be? Actually, I don't know if he's going to have any more lines. Or she. Sam could be both. I'll just do him like Sam, what's his name? Sam, like Western Sam. What's his name? Or Sam. I can't do his voice. I won't do it like that. Logan opened the door the rest of the way, and Alistair gently pushed the bones into the hall and off to one side with his foot. They advanced into the hallway, which was another copy of the ones above. More barred cells filled with gold bullion stacked to the roof. Bullion? Karen? Yeah, this whole Karen thing has really taken off, eh? Karen is is a meme, or like a, it's kind of like an okay boomer sort of thing, right? It's something that the kids are saying nowadays. Okay, Karen. Karen is like, like middle-aged white woman, who's probably, a little bit naive and expects things to be a certain way. Okay, I'll do it as Montgomery. There we go. Foghorn Leghorn. Likely something was feeding on it and dragged the rest away. Maybe the bee... No, that's not it. Montgomery. Likely something was feeding on it and dragged the rest away. Maybe the bees picked the bones clean. I can't get it. I have to listen to Montgomery. All right. Logan opened the door the rest of the way, and Alistair gently pushed the bones into the hall and off to one side with his foot. They advanced into the hallway, which was another copy of the ones above. More barred cells filled with gold bullion stacked to the roof. Halfway down the hall, they heard a lively tune being whistled. A moment later, a leprechaun walked around the corner in front of them. By his side stalked a wolvite that was twice his bulk. Its shoulders stood as high as the leprechaun's head, and the beast had to weigh at least 200 pounds. Leprechaun, Beastmaster, level 27, health 51,000 out of 51,000. Wolvite Companion, level 25, health 64,000 out of 64,000. Alistair didn't give the leprechaun a chance to cast. He quickly used Erupt to send a spike up through the leprechaun's chest, shooting a spray of blood onto the wall behind it. The creature tried to scream, but couldn't get the air into its lungs. The stone spike was larger than the leprechaun himself and devastated its chest. The spike missed its heart, still dropping its health by half. The wolvite roared and charged toward Alistair, and a moment later an answering roar from Fuzzy drowned it out. The charging creature hesitated, but it was already too late. The 300-pound-year-old bear cub charged forward, half again as large as the wolvite, and 5 levels higher. The impact of the two beasts sent them careening into one of the walls, where teeth flashed and fur began to fly. Unable to hit the Wolvite without risking hitting Fuzzy, Alistair focused on the leprechaun. Despite the gaping hole in his chest, the creature was still attempting to cast plasma bolts, Plasma bolts began to impact it even as the illusion snapped into place and the leprechaun disappeared. Though the illusion threw off a few of the humans, the droids continued to fire at the same spot. The illusion only lasted moments before dropping. But the moment it did, lightning struck Alistair, knocking him off his feet and back into a wall. His head impacted first, and he thought he felt something give as he blacked out. A moment later, he was revived, feeling heals wash over him. There was pain in the back of his head and his neck, but he ignored it. The leprechaun was already down to about 20% health, and the bar was draining rapidly. Fuzzy was still fighting the Wolvite, literally tooth and nail. Alistair managed to get a clear line of sight to the monster and cast Mind Spike, causing it to wail and shake its head. That was the only opening the enraged Fuzzy needed. He latched onto the Wolvite's throat and squeezed, simultaneously shaking his head. The leprechaun expired first, using its last breath to cast a curse on the group. Alistair didn't take time to look at the details as the cursed icon appeared in the top corner of his interface. Instead, he struggled to his feet with the help of Amanda and Chloe and leaned on them while he watched Fuzzy finish off the Wolvite. Nancy had been continually casting heals on the bear, and though he was covered in both his own and the Wolvite's blood, he was at over 90% health when his prey expired. Amanda was probing the back of Alistair's head with internal analysis as she felt it with her fingers. When she pulled them away, they were bloody. "You actually have a flat spot on your skull where you hit the wall. That should have killed you, even with the quick heals you got." Her eyes glowed when she activated her internal analysis, and she added, "I can see the bone pushing back out and re-knitting. You should have a bruised brain and probably bleeding inside your skull right now, but I don't see any evidence of either." Still disoriented, Alistair mumbled, "You seem disappointed." Amanda's mouth opened, and she stared at him for a moment. "Damn, I'm sorry. That was a little clinical of me. I'm glad you're okay. Really, I am. I just don't understand it." "Maybe my skull was already thickened? I've taken more than one shot to the head this year." "No, I mean, it may have been thickened, reinforced like your other broken bones, but it was definitely caved in. It's like your brain. I don't know." She drifted off into her own thoughts. Stepping forward on his own, he touched the leprechaun and Wolvite with his foot to loot them. Then he put his back against the wall and slid to a sitting position. He'd received 200 gold coins from the leprechaun and a scroll. The Wolvite had given him a couple of pieces to hide and 20 pieces of meat. A couple pieces of hide and 20 pieces of meat. His people knew to harvest what they could from the creature, so Alistair remained where he was while they did their jobs. Fuzzy helped himself to the discarded bits as the creature was gutted, skinned, and butchered. The robots had formed front and rear guard formations and kept watch for more roving mobs as the humans did their thing. Prime came to stand in front of Alistair. "Are you well, sire?" "I'll be fine, Prime. Bumped my head really hard, but I'm healing." The droid nodded once. Behind him, Alistair heard Amanda say, "That's it!" She walked over to him. "You were hit by lightning. That's what threw you into the wall. I think maybe the shock contracted your muscles and your brain so that it took less of a hit when your skull caved." "Good to know." Alistair winked at her. "Glad you got that off your mind, and I hope it helps you get over your disappointment that I survived." She glared at him. "Well, you know, If you bite it down here, I do have a good case of taking your spot as princess, even though you haven't technically made an honest woman out of me." Alistair was dumbfounded. She'd never spoken about marriage before. "Was that a proposal?" he stammered at her, wishing his head was clearer. The pain and disorientation hadn't completely faded. She just rolled her eyes and walked away. "That's what I like about you," Meg said as she handed him some jerky. "So quick on your feet. Smooth, like peanut butter." She gave him a playful poke in the belly and walked away. Fuzzy appeared in her place, sniffing with great interest at the jerky in Alistair's hand. He gladly fed it to his bear cub, scratching his blood-covered ears. "You did a great job, buddy. Took down that big nasty beast and made it look easy." Fuzzy just snorted and gnawed on the tough meat. But Alistair could tell he was pleased by the compliment from the way his little nub of a tail twitched. Wiping his hands on a rag from his inventory, he continued to talk to the bear. "We need to work on our coordination, my friend. You can't just go charging in whenever you feel like it. I need you to wait until I give you the signal, okay?" Fuzzy looked at him as if to say, "A bear's got a bear," then resumed his gnawing on the jerky. "Yeah, bear's got a bear. A bear's got a bear." "Right. Good talk, buddy. Glad we worked that out. Finish up your snack there. We need to get moving." Alistair pushed himself onto his feet, using the wall at his back. When he was fully upright, he shook his head a bit to test it out. When he didn't feel dizzy, he gave himself a little thumbs up and stepped forward. That's the end of scene 2. Bada bing, bada boom. That was Shadow Sun Rebellion, or a couple scenes from it. That's book 3 of the Shadow Sun series. Shadow Sun something? Is there it's not like Shadow Sun Chronicles, it's the Shadow Sun series, I think. I'm going to look that up. No time like the present. Shadow Sun. Yeah, I guess it's just the Shadow Sun series, yeah. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Dave Willmarth, for your submission, and thank you for everyone who voted on Shadow Sun Rebellion. That book is available on Amazon. The link is in the description. Book 2 of Shadow Sun Expansion, is in production with Sound Booth Theater right now, and we're getting some voices on it currently. I believe Jeff Hayes is going to be adding his voices this week, and Annie Ellicott. Andrea Parsoneau is already on there, so we got to get those voices. Then it's on to proofing, polishing, and then bada bing, bada boom. In the new year, you'll have yourself a nice new copy of Shadow Sun Expansion in audio. Voila! Now, what's next? Next is PrimeVerse PrimeVerse Forced Login by Rob Billiau. And I know absolutely nothing about this story, other than it came out on November 15th of this year. I'm just going to pull it up here so I have all of the stats for you. PrimeVerse. Oops. Pick up PrimeVerse on Amazon Prime. Why not? No, I don't think the story has anything to do with Amazon Prime. I'm guessing it doesn't. So there you have it. Yeah. Check it out. It's number 1 in virtual reality right now. So definitely looks like, if I were just to look at a glance, I would say this is a lit RPG. And I say it's at a glance, but it's literally in the title. A lit RPG, game lit adventure. So there you have it. The mechanics are going to be in there. And I get the impression that there's like, I get the impression that the main character is like a builder of some sort. He looks like a builder. He's got a book. He's got like a utility belt. And yeah, he kind of looks like a scrubby builder, construction guy, you know? I'm not saying that all construction guys are scrubby, but I'm saying that some of them can be scrubby. Virtually undefeated? That's in the sequel, Amazon PrimeVerse. Oh, good. I like that. Jeff Bezos takes over. Okay, great. Let's read this. So we've got some direction here. The characters. We have Kai, an old martial artist who lived his life as a martial arts instructor. He's positive, pragmatic, and mostly formal. So I'm probably not going to do much of an accent, but I might stilt, give him a bit of a lilt to his voice and a little bit deeper. He's only 18 in the game, so his vocal cords would be 18 as well. So I don't want to make him sound too old. Cora. She is a manipulative wench who hates that she lives in a game world. Attractive, and she knows it. She is the ultimate Karen meme. Karen. Hudson, the lovable MC. He's always curious, but he has a spider phobia and is hesitant about the game world at first. His desire to learn more about it won out. And lastly, we have Madison, who is perky and positive, a substitute teacher who loves helping. Just because she is happy all the time doesn't mean she is stupid. All right. How late are you, Rasta Life Reggae? You are about 45 minutes late. But you are in time, just in time for PrimeVerse Forced Login by Rob Billiau. And I'm going to read the setting. Our characters have been permanently brain transferred into this game world, inhabiting fresh, strong 18-year-old bodies. In this scene, these intrepid adventurers have set off on a mission to find a lost member of their tribe who they think has been kidnapped by an ex-member who has the power to control undead. Set off a mission to find a lost member of their tribe who they think was kidnapped by an ex-member. Okay, so someone was excommunicated from the tribe, and they believe that this person has kidnapped someone currently in their tribe. Got it. All right. Our hike took us through a light forest, which in and of itself was not spooky at all. But any glance upward showed large webs stretched throughout the canopy. "This place creeps me out," Cora said. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I had to agree with her. As we made it deeper into the woods and the light began to be more and more filtered through the trees, we saw webs with larger and larger cocoons on them. The deeper in we went, the larger the cocoons got. First, one the size of large bugs, then one the size of a small bird, then even larger. I couldn't stand it anymore. "Kai! How far is this place? These webs are freaking me out." "It's not far. When you spawn, it's a rocky depression close to the edge of this forest. I've seen these webs from the outskirts, but I admit I didn't realize they were this big." "We should be okay, though, right?" Cora asked. "We have attunements now. That should keep us safe, shouldn't it?" The cracking in her voice made me think she wasn't convinced. I didn't answer her. I was hoping the cores would keep us safe, but nothing about this place screamed safety. We had time to test it soon thereafter, though, thanks to me. Kai and Cora seemed to slink through the woods with ease, while I lumbered about with my piddly stealth skill. Cora looked back at me with a raised eyebrow, and I ducked my head, embarrassed, trying to pay better attention to my footing. That's when I tripped over a rogue root, and, arms windmilling, fell through one of the huge spider webs, face first. "Oh, shit!" I heard Cora whisper as I tried to get back to my feet. Then I heard the chittering. Frantically wiping the webbing from my face and spitting the foul-tasting stuff out of my mouth, I saw what had her nervous. Dropping down on lines descending from the trees all around us were huge spiders. Not huge like, "Whoa, look at that big spider in the corner of the bathtub. I'm going to smash it with my shoe." Oh no. Big wasn't good enough here for the devs. They had to make monster spiders. The smallest were the size of my palm, while others were as big as small dogs. It was really gross and completely terrifying. I almost threw up. Spiders. Why did it have to be spiders? "Oh, yeah, shit," I said. Kai entered a battle stance, and the spiders wasted no time attacking, leaping in at us from all sides. Cora screamed when the first spider bit into her. I screamed, still unscathed, because spiders suck, and I was freaking out. I was sure if dying from their attacks or having to kill one and risk getting monster spider guts all over me was worse. The panic debuff popped up for me, and this time I took a chance to read it. "Panic. When afflicted with this debuff, you have a chance to act abnormally. When attempting to perform an action, you may instead perform one of these actions: fainting, running and screaming, standing still. Attacks made while under the effects of this debuff may hit an ally if one is within range." I was only at 40% panic, so gritting my teeth, I readied a rock to throw. I couldn't do it. Instead, I flailed about, screaming. "Dude, calm down!" Cora screamed, taking this whole spider attack much better than me. I probably should have been embarrassed. She grabbed a spider, threw it to the ground, and stomped the life out of it. The thing exploded in green guts, sliming all of us like a kid's game show. I threw up instantly, spraying Cora. "What the hell, man?" she screamed at me. I shrugged a feigned apology. I had half a mind to just respawn and get this all over with, but nothing in me could willingly give myself over to the mutant spiders. Kai had 2 huge spiders on him, and I swear he was dodging their mandibles as they clacked closed. It looked and sounded like a tap dance. The show ended quickly as the spider on his back bit into him, ripping a hunk of flesh out. "Damn you!" Kai shouted as he reached back, grabbing the spider by one of its mandibles and yanking it forward in front of him. He grabbed the other mandible and, in a show of strength, ripped the spider in half. "Why didn't we just fight the zombies?" I mumbled, half to myself, half out loud. I could feel the blackness of a faint coming on, but it was ripped away along with a chunk of my shoulder by one of the larger spiders. "Congratulations! You have increased your toughness skill." My panic skipped to 60%, and I ran towards the nearest tree, slamming my shoulder, complete with my spider shawl, into it. It exploded with an audible popping noise, spraying my face with guts and ichor. I watched as my health bar turned green and a pictogram of little green bubbles appeared next to it. Poison. Great. I passed out. I woke up to a flashing red health bar being slapped in the face by Kai. "Wake up!" he yelled in my face as he reached back to slap me again. I'm awake! I yelled, flinching. Cora stood behind him, covering her mouth as she laughed at me. Yeah. Spiders have always kind of freaked me out. I guess the game interpreted that a little worse than I remembered on Earth. I mean, the spiders were way worse. It gave me a panic debuff. Is that why you fainted? Cora asked. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I fainted, I said, hoping I was convincing. Kai lifted me to my feet. How did I take so much damage? I was only bitten once, wasn't I? Oh, wait. Yeah. Kai cleared his throat. That was me. I might have gotten a little rough trying to wake you up. You beat the crap out of me to wake me up? That wasn't very nice. Well, we had to show you something. Kai pointed above us to a massive web in the canopy. The intricacy of the details was astounding. If the creator wasn't so vile, I would have found it beautiful. The thick web glittered in the sunlight that poured across it, illuminating it and making it appear almost golden. The web bounced a little, and I saw what they wanted to show me. Right in the middle of the web was a huge cocoon, the vague size and shape of a person. It was squirming. Oh, crap. That's a boss fight, isn't it? The spiders weren't that bad, Cora said. They inject you with venom, but it fades quickly without doing much. We should try to help that person in there, though, before he or she is liquefied into spider juice. Oh, are you trying to make me puke again? I asked, shuddering. Couldn't you see these things on your mini-map? Kai asked me. No, I didn't see anything. Maybe they were stealthed, or I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand how it works. I didn't see birds flying earlier either. Kai grunted. Well, we wanted you to heal up before we attacked, so you stay back and throw rocks at it, okay? Yes! That sounds like a great idea, I said, maybe too enthusiastically. I hoped they didn't think I was a coward, but spiders. Well, spiders made me a coward. If I stayed far enough away, I wouldn't panic, at least. I hoped. Are you guys all healed up? Yeah, we didn't take too much damage and got no injuries, Cora said. Kai stood up. Can you see if you can find the spiders and maybe draw it out, Hudson? With one of those sneak attack things? I'll try, and it's sucker punch. Wait, I've never seen you punch anything, though. Yeah, I don't get it either. I scanned through the web. I knew the spider had to be in there somewhere, but couldn't find it. I can't see anything in there. Want me to throw something into the web? Sure, Kai said. We need to draw this thing out somehow. Get ready, Cora. No worries on my end. I won't faint, she said with a chuckle. I grumbled. Funny girl. Then I took careful aim at the web, throwing my rock right into the center, but away from the cocoon. The rock hit the web and tore a hole in it. We stood there, battle ready, adrenaline pumping, and waited. Huh, I said, turning around. As soon as I made a full 180, I came face to face with the most unholy abomination imaginable. I froze in place as the massive spider, at least as large as a bison from the plains, less than a foot away from me, opened its mandibles right towards my face. I screamed so loud and high-pitched that the spider actually backed up, as if the sound was a defense mechanism. Panic 50%. Kai and Cora both spun around and, to their credit, reacted far better than I did. As I stood there, frozen, eyes wide as saucers and mouth hung open like a fool, a spear flung in from one side, bursting one of the spider's 4 eyes, while Kai's foot flew in from the other. The weight of the jump kick sent the spider back like a pinball. After a yard, it dug its feet in and stopped. Raising its head and screeching, Yet another thing I didn't know could scream. It looked at Cora, and a stream of green goo shot from its mouth right at her, faster than she could dodge. Cora screamed as the smell of cooking flesh wafted off her. This snapped me out of my fright. My compatriot was burning from acid or something, and I needed to act. I closed my eyes, slowing my breath and trying to find a calm determination. When I opened my eyes, the panic debuff showed 37%, and I saw another system message. Congratulations! You have increased your emotion attribute. Congratulations! You have learned the center skill. Center. Taking time to calm your emotions and breathing. You reduce the effects of emotional reactions. The longer you spend centering yourself, the greater the effect. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Confronting my fears and using my breathing techniques gave me a new skill. I took a few more seconds to center myself as Kai waded in, swinging his fists and slamming them against the terrifying boss spider's chelicera. Chelicera? With a loud crack. I couldn't tell if it was Kai's hand or the spider's exoskeleton that broke, but it was my time to do something, except I didn't have anything to throw. I had used up all my rocks, so I dug around through my inventory to find anything that could help the situation. I pulled out the only useful thing I could find that I felt like I could waste. A lemon. I must have put it in my inventory on the starter island. With a shrug, I brought it out and chucked it at the spider's eyes. The massive spider paused briefly, its head turning to me as if to say, "Really?" Kai leapt in to take advantage of the spider's distracted state, performing his palm strike right against one of the spider eyes. The power of the blow exploded the eye, and all hell broke loose. The massive spider screeched, lashing out with several of its legs, striking both me and Kai. It sent me sprawling to the ground, while Kai, taking the hit, grabbed the leg and hung on. The spider spun with its legs, and a long stream of silk shot out of its spinneret in every direction. It wasn't long before it coated the entire area, me included, in wet, sticky silk strands. Then the silk began to harden. "Uh-oh! Kai! The webbing is hardening!" I could barely speak by this point as the webbing turned almost hard as rock. I was stuck fast in place. Kai, who had ridden the spider's leg like a twisted fair ride, climbed up onto the thing's thorax, holding on for his life, while the spider bashed at him with its legs. "I'm hurry! Oof!" he started to say before a leg caught him in the chest. He held on, but I could tell that one hurt. Kai kept climbing his way to the spider's head and finally got there, slamming his fist down over and over, looking for a weak spot. He held onto the spider's long hairs with one hand while he kept punching. The spider did not sit idly, though, and used its back legs to pummel the poor martial artist. Kai found, or made, a weak point, and I heard a splorching noise as his fist broke through the exoskeleton into the hot, gooey insides. The spider screeched again and fell onto its body, its limbs spasming. It managed another powerful blow on Kai, almost knocking the man off, but he punched his fist through the creature's head again and, grabbing everything inside, squished it like he was cleaning out a pumpkin. Finally, it was over. "Congratulations! You have defeated a spider princess!" I shuddered at that message. If this was only a princess, it meant there had to be a queen somewhere too. Gross. The spider, a disgusting mess, Kai, beaten and bloody and gooey, fell to the ground. He lay there, chest heaving, trying to catch his breath. The webbing that had sprayed everywhere softened again, and I could fight my way free. Cora was lying on the ground, whimpering in the fetal position, moaning, smoke streaming off her burning head, the hair melted off one side. I jumped over to her while Kai struggled to his feet. Ripping the webbing off her, I helped her to a sitting position. The acid seemed to have stopped burning, but its damage was done. Half of Cora's face was melted with dripping skin. Her hair and one eye burned away. She groaned, but said nothing, in a catatonic state. Kai, we have to get her back. She has a bunch of nasty injuries, and she still needs to rest and heal. Kai had made his way over to the cocoon in the huge web, and with a stone knife cut it down, laying it gently on the ground. It wiggled and thrashed about, but stopped when he spoke to it. Ooh. Hello in there. We will get you out if you can stop all the thrashing so I don't cut you. The cocoon stopped moving. I stood up, laying Cora to the ground, and stepped over to see what could be in this cocoon. Kai poked the knife in, and with strong but careful strokes, cut it open. A woman reached out, gasping for air. An extremely beautiful woman. Congratulations! You have increased your connection attribute. Oh, thank you, she shouted through labored breaths. The smell in there was terrible. Plus, I'm sure I was going to be liquefied and consumed, which would certainly not be pleasant. She shook her hair from her face. I'm Madison. Who are you? The woman climbed out of the cocoon, dusted herself off, and stretched. She was just on the tall side of short, with black hair cut into a shorter style, a light dusting of freckles across her nose, and strangely enough, for just having come out of a cocoon, a warm smile. The most striking part about her, however, was her outfit. She had on a chainmail hauberk with 4 octagonal plates of filigree metal. Oh, man. She had on a chainmail hauberk with 4 octagonal plates of filigreed metal strapped to it. That was just a sentence with 3 words that I was like, okay, what's the pronunciation of that? The hauberk, and I don't know if I got them right, I think it's hauberk. The hauberk ended just past her waist in a plaid skirt. You could see a small amount of flesh of her legs before the silvery greaves began, ending in sturdy-looking boots. Whoa, you must be in advanced class, I said in answer to her question. Real smooth. Kai laughed with me, except I wasn't laughing. I'm Kai. This is Hudson. Over there on the ground is Cora. The spiders hurt her bad, so if you are okay, we would like to head back to our cave so we can help her. Kai strode over to Cora, who was still out of it, and picked her up in a fireman's carry. Oh, here! I can help! Madison strode over to Cora and placed her hand on the woman's mangled face. Her face focused, and a white light emanated from her hand. Cora's face grew healthy, new skin, and after a minute, Madison stopped, gasping for air. Her body, which had looked not too bad for being almost smothered by a cocoon, had gone pale. Bloody sweat drops formed on her brow. Cora looked like the acid had never burned her, except for the hair that hadn't grown back. Her eyes opened, and she looked around from her strange position. Hey, Kai? Why are you carrying my... Oh, wait, who's this? Oh, yeah, Cora. Hey, Kai? Why are you carrying me like this? Kai set her down, and Cora reached her hand to her face, feeling the soft, new flesh. What happened? I remember that spider spitting at me, and that it hurt. Who's this? Cora pointed to Madison. Hi, I'm Madison. I healed you. I'm a system cleric. It was my job to find your tribe and teach you guys how to use the system, but I kind of got caught up playing with the monkeys in the tutorial zone. Then, when I got here, some ass with necromancy powers kept killing me over and over to make me into a zombie for his undead army. We should probably stop him before he kills all of you and wipes out your tribe. Madison put one hand on a hip and cocked it out while giving the V for victory sign and a wink. You have been invited to a group, Madison's group. Do you wish to join? Yes or no? And scene. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Rob, Monsieur Billiau. Good sense of humor. The humor shone through in that script. I enjoyed it. All right, let's take a look at get on the chat here. Guys, anyone finished reading the Gamelet series Forever Fantasy Online by Rachel Aaron and Travis Bach? It was great. I have not read that one. I don't think I've even seen that. She needs to talk to the manager spider. Hello. I'd like to speak with your manager, please.
We don't have a manager. We are Legion.
Hey, Rob, are you actually having the book recorded by Sound Booth? Ooh, I wish. Get on it. Should probably approach them. Approach us. Hey, send us an email. acquisitions@soundbooththeater.com. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me just write it out for you. Let me see. Acquisitions. Yes, if you are an author and would like to have your book narrated by Sound Booth Theater, send us a proposal at acquisitions@soundbooththeater.com. There you go. I might delete that in a second because sometimes you get people selling your email for ads and stuff. So let me know when you got it. Luke Bat, 2 stories releasing in the span of a month could do that. Fingers crossed. Ooh, you've got another book coming out? Yeah, now to get to book 2. Do it. Chelicerae. That's the fangs. Oh, I see. Splorch just stopped in to say you are awesome. Well, thank you, Barry. I know you're not here anymore, but thanks. Thanks for swinging by. I'm glad you think so. Pumpkin. Oh, I would kill for some pumpkin pie right now. Who's got pumpkin pie? I'm going to be a murder chicken in a second. Ouch, dude. You just gave me a headache from rolling my eyes so hard. Maybe there's no queen. The princess could have assassinated her mother and then had trouble finding a date on the web. Oh, yeah, that is an eye roller. Oof. Mission accomplished. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rob. That was the first time players experienced a party. Good reading. Thank you. My pleasure. Fun to listen to. Now you need the full audiobook done. Well, there you go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to remove that post. I know everybody else has downloaded it. I think. Okay. It's being kind of glitchy. Sweet. Send it to that. #winning. Wrote a short story in the System Apocalypse anthology from Dao. Dao Wong? Is it Dao? I got that email too, by the way. Beautiful. Pumpkin pie with some whipped cream would be amazing right now. Indeed, Dan. Indeed. All right. Well, that was really loud. All right. Well, I think I'm going to move on to the next reading, which is from Charles Dean's War Aeturnus 5, which I believe he's working on right now. So I have a little bit of direction here, but not full direction. Thank you, Danny, for sending this over. So there's Lee, soft-spoken male MC, Jade, who is a standard female. What does IIRC mean? I can't remember. IIRC, if I remember correctly. Boom. There you go. It was a standard female. I think that Jade has like a really fast, I think Jade talks like this, like a really fast voice. Kind of. I think she's the fastest one that Jeff actually narrates. But I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do it and get it into my really high-pitched voice, and then, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Bridget is a female general, probably tougher than the typical female, and Ling Can't remember anything about her other than she's female. Okay, I'll make her standard. Okay. Charles Dean. More War Aeturnus 5. Oh, actually, before I move on. So PrimeVerse login, forced login. I keep on doing that. PrimeVerse forced login is available on Amazon. There's a link in the comments or in the description below. And it'll take you to the Amazon page, and you can find it there. Check it out. Pick it up. I think this is Monsieur Billiau's first book. Is this your first book? Other than the System Apocalypse short story, this is your first full-length book, it seems. So, definitely check it out. It sounds like a lot of fun. It reads well, and you'll be supporting an author who's just getting started on, as far as I can see. Maybe he ghostwrites for someone. I don't know, but I'm seeing the PrimeVerse forced login and the System Apocalypse short story. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on to War Aeturnus. Now, War Aeturnus was narrated by Jeff Hayes, of course. And War Aeturnus 5 has not been released. It is still in the works from Charles. But we have another project that is of Charles Dean, and it's in the works. And it's going to be coming out pretty soon, so keep your eyes peeled. If you haven't had a chance to listen to Heroic Villain or read Heroic Villain by Charles Dean, Book 2 is going to be hitting Audible very soon. It is in its final stages. And if you enjoy that series, keep your eyes peeled, save a credit, and it'll be out before Christmas. I can tell you that much. Back to War Aeturnus, though. More War Aeturnus 5 by Charles Dean. Is it Brigid? Brigid, like rigid. Thought you could leave that easily? Brigid demanded angrily. Lee frowned as he realized that even the green-coated golem he had assigned to patrol around the city and keep watch over her had been duped. Did she figure out its patrol routes? Did she time it perfectly so that it wouldn't notice her? Why are my pieces moving without me knowing about it? Excuse me. Wait, pieces? Why am I thinking of them as pieces? This is Brigid. He shook his head, trying to clear it of the idea. Brigid was one of the women he cared for intimately, and yet, in his inner monologue, he had referred to her as a piece, like any of the other knights, pawns, bishops, or queens he might move on a chessboard. And it wasn't the first time that it had happened. I didn't realize that you were back, he said after a moment. I wouldn't be back at all if I hadn't seen Faustus leave the training camp and beeline straight for the capital, Brigid answered, shifting her weight impatiently. You think I don't know what he was doing? Lee sighed. No, I think you know more than I do sometimes, despite all the ears and eyes I have, Lee said, referring to both his... Oh, Lee is a man. There we go. No, I think you know more than I do sometimes, despite all the ears and eyes I have, Lee said, referring to both his golems and the numerous spies and thieves that reported directly to him as a king. Lee, you can't leave, she pleaded, her demeanor suddenly changing from angry to, concerned, as she stepped forward and grabbed his hand. If something happens to you, we all die. You must be aware of that, right? Those temples are death traps. Every person who goes in dies. Don't risk it. Lee shook his arm free. I'll be fine. I've gone through a few already. They're not traps for heralds. They're not death traps for heralds. But King Raman's territory is... Brigid pressed. Like Raman? Is it Raman? If he finds out where you are, he'll kill you. Just stay. Please? She was looking up at him with the most beautiful green eyes Lee had ever seen on a red-headed woman. He had to admit that, no matter how much time he spent with her, he always wanted to spend one more second. Sending her away from him to train the troops had been nearly impossible, but he had. Thoughts of the future and what would happen if he didn't win, the same thoughts that spurred him on to capture the stone now, gave him the strength he needed. As if sensing her emotional attack had failed, Brigid threw another one at Lee, stepping forward and burying her face into his chest. "I can't lose you," she pleaded softly. "I need you here." "You're not going to let me off easily, are you?" Lee sighed as he wrapped his arms around her and pulled her against him. "Look, I'll be back. It's not like I'm going to be gone forever. It's not like you're not going to see me again, so just calm down, okay?" "You can't say stuff like that," Brigid grumbled into his armor. "That's just bad luck." Lee chuckled. "You've been listening to Jade way too much. I'll be fine. It's always fine. Look, I've got to go. The sooner I leave, the sooner I'll be back. So relax. Don't worry about me, and continue training our troops." "But what about the city?" she asked, obviously looking for any excuse that might convince him to change his mind. The herald who was tormenting your dreams. What if she attacks?" "Forget her," Jade called out as she entered the throne room. And how could you think she is listening to me too much? My great wisdom and understanding of this trope-filled land of cliches is priceless, and our NPC here has been doing nothing more than showing her own wisdom as she seeks out my counsel." "What? No," Lee grimaced. Brigid he could handle. Brigid was controllable in a way. Jade, however, was not. There was a reason he had wanted to leave while she was asleep. When the hell did they team up against me? Lee groaned internally. "Well, that's..." He suddenly felt exactly like the guard he had been teasing earlier as he felt a little bead of sweat form on his own forehead. Finally, having had enough of the conversation, he separated himself from Brigid a little too forcefully and took a step back. "Look, this is an important mission, and that is that." "But you still haven't addressed what will become of the town when you're gone," Brigid pressed. "Without you here, who's to stop that creepy dream lady or others from invading? What will happen if King Raman's forces reach us before you return?" "Jade can handle that," Lee said, trying to assuage her concern. "She's just as fierce a line of defense as I am. Don't worry." "Yeah, that's not happening, though," Jade said with a laugh. "I'm coming with you. You need to think up another excuse for our cute bundle of NPC joy." Jade hugged Brigid from behind, resting her own head on the general's shoulder so that the combination of red and blue hair surrounding two beautiful, cute faces was nearly enough to make Lee waver and convince him that he needed to postpone his trip for another few hours. "She will worry herself to death otherwise." "You're not coming with me," Lee said flatly. "I need to do this alone." "Yeah, no," Jade giggled. "That's not happening. If you go, I'm going. You might as well call me your shadow because the only way you're going to be free of me is your lights go out for good." Right. And if she doesn't go, there's no way in hell you're leaving." "Oh, right. And if she doesn't go, there's no way in hell you're leaving," Brigid added. Ling grunted in agreement, revealing herself too. "Me? I'm coming as well." "Et tu?" Lee wanted to protest, but no words came out. Instead, all he could muster was yet another sigh. "Don't be so glum. There aren't many kings or even heroes who get to decide what they do in life without their woman holding veto over it." The system's message reminded him that there was yet another individual who had eyes and ears on everything he did and said, even his thoughts. "Are you sure we can trust the town if you two leave? Burnfield is the heart of our empire. Do you think Brigid alone can handle it?" Li asked, his questions pointed at Ling this time. Ling had taken over handling a lot of administrative tasks with her own combat training sessions. Unlike Jade, who steadfastly claimed, "I only need levels, and we get those from the troops, so let me sleep, let me read, and let me work on drawing out some Ling had stayed laser-focused since the moment Li first donned his crown. "Without you here, the only thing that will change is that this room might once again be filled wall-to-wall with annoying counselors," Bridget said. "I don't think they will be as intimidated by me as they were by you, and with so many of them, whether Ling stays or doesn't won't matter." "Will you be able to handle them?" Li asked. "If I said I couldn't, would it stop you from leaving?" she asked. "No," Li replied, shaking his head. "Yeah, I'll be fine," Bridget answered at last, somewhat defeatedly. "I've led thousands of troops in battle. Handling a few dozen angry councilmen and advisors will be easy. If they get too unruly, I might just jail the disruptive ones. Your method." She flinched, likely at the memory of him burning alive a councilman who had been caught double-taxing the citizens in his district. "I don't think I'll be comfortable making that decision without you." "Then it's settled," Jade stated. "I've already made arrangements for the bicorn," Ling added. "When Bridget told us what was going on, I sent someone to handle preparations for our departure," she said, stressing the word "our." Li still didn't like the idea of what was likely going to happen once all the citizens were left with only Bridget to hold off the handful of conniving counselors, but he stopped trying to figure out how to convince them that he should go alone when another message from the system popped up. "You're taking them with you, or I will punish you." "And why would you do that?" Li didn't doubt the system would or could do as she threatened. She had reminded him in the past exactly how damaging to Li she could be if she wanted to. He just wanted to know what interest she had in his affairs. "Li, how many times must we go over this? I was created and programmed for a purpose. I always adhere to that purpose. Sometimes I think you weren't even listening to me. That'll hurt my feelings if I find out that's the case." "But how does that make me take them with me? But how does making me take them with me adhere to that purpose? Isn't interfering this much against the rules?" Li only received the soft sound of her chuckling in his ear without an actual text message to accompany it. "Fine. You two can come with me," Li conceded, pretending as if he had arrived at the decision alone. "But we are going to be back soon anyway, so don't worry about packing too much." "Psh! When has Ling ever packed much? That ultra-serious type NPC doesn't seem to ever go anywhere without anything more than her bow and that same drab outfit she's been wearing ever since I met her." Ling shot Jade a cold stare and then turned to Li. "I've already packed everything that's needed." "That's good," Li replied. "You should have let me double your wardrobe," Jade said, tugging at sullen Ling. "I can think of so many cosplay outfits you'd look perfect in." "Cosplay is disguise? I don't need to disguise myself. I'm happy with who I am. Let's go," Ling said, walking away from the group toward the bicorns. "Her script is very limited," Jade commented with a sigh. "A moment and a half in, and we still haven't seen any new dialogue prompts. But don't worry, NPC. That's why we love you the most. That's why we love you the most." She turned and hugged Bridget as if making her point. "See you soon, bestie. I'm off to go see if I can raise a flag and make some progress with the glasses gun, Kun." Bridget warmly returned the hug and then let Jade go when the blue-haired woman pulled away and darted off. "Remember," Bridget said to Li as Jade left earshot, "our duty comes before our lives, and our duty is to you." Duty. Is that your way of making some special confession before I leave? You know that's bad luck, right? Even as the words left his mouth, Li realized that he sounded more than a little like Jade repeating one of her cliches. "It's not a confession, Burnfield will cave without you. The people will be slaughtered wholesale, and all that is important will perish under crumbling walls, steel, and arrows. I'm stressing this so that you won't forget it and do your usual dumb self-sacrificing shtick. Duty comes first. You are our duty. Don't forget it, and keep yourself safe." Even though her words were ominous and her tone was grave, Lee could spot a small smile curling up on both sides of her lips as she stared into his eyes. "Yeah, I got it," he replied, sighing and giving her a hug. "I'll take care of the others and make sure we all come back in one piece." He gave her a quick kiss before turning and walking away. He didn't know if he should hear him, He didn't know if she could hear him, but as he opened the door to leave, he turned around to see that she was still in the same place he had left her, and he said, "I love you too," before closing the door behind him and walking toward the bicorns. And scene. Oh, Ling is high British. Oh, sorry. Ah, well. She wasn't in this scene. Duda Miller. Yeah, Miller. Love playing a psychopath. This is all good. All right, that was More War Aeturnus 5 from Charles Dean. And be sure to check out the links in the description. There's a link to book 1. I believe there's 2 links for him. So we got a link to the ebook of book 1 and the audiobook of book 1. Audiobook narrated by Jeff Hayes, and then later on in the saga, I believe Annie Ellicott joins in with him. Or I could be wrong, maybe it's just him still. At any rate, there you have it. That is Sound Booth Theater Live, requests only. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. Be sure to check out the Gamelit Society group. And I'm pretty sure... I know, so Charles has a Facebook group. It's the Spoiled Rotten Readers. Be sure to check that out. I know Dave Willmarth has a Facebook group as well, which is called the Greystone Guild, I think. I believe I believe... I can't remember if it's still... if he's still got that, if he's still running it or what the situation is, but definitely check that out as well. And lastly, Rob Billiau, do you have a Facebook page or anywhere that people can, stay up to date on your stuff? If so, let us know in the comments, and I'll make a statement. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys hanging out and talking. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it bears repeating. Why not? There was something else that I wanted to say. Plugs. Oh, for me, I would love it if you checked out a podcast called Dice Shame. It's free. You can download it. And it's available up to episode 7 we have done now. And essentially it's live play D&D. Me and some good friends from high school. We get together. I knew them when I was in high school. They're not in high school right now. We play D&D. We're playing Storm King's Thunder right now. And I have the privilege of getting to add sound effects and music to the episodes afterwards. So I don't do too much. That's pretty lightly sparsed out. But yeah, there's sound effects, there's music in there, and it's a lot of fun. We have a blast, and I would love it if you guys checked it out. We've got a Facebook group page, all that stuff. But I'd love for you to check that out. Gamelit Society, Sound Booth Theater Live Facebook group. I hope you've been just writing all these down really quickly. You know what? Just click on all of the links in the description. Do we do any voices in Storm King's Thunder? You bet your ass we do voices. I'm playing Kraloth, the cleric, the grave cleric, who he's a bit of a jolly fellow. He really enjoys being around his friends. Deep down, he's afraid of being alone. Yeah. So anyways, that's Kraloth. He laughs a bit like Dr. Hibbard. So if that's reason for you to check out the show, then please do that. Anyone know the published date of the audiobook of Heroic Villain 2? So I will tell you that we are going to be uploading it tomorrow. We have everything that we need for it pretty much. We're just waiting on one little tiny retake. So once that's ready, we'll upload it, and then it's up to Audible. Then it's in Audible's hands. It might take 4 days. It has taken as quick as 4 days before. Or it might take up to 2 weeks. But now's a good time. If you've got a credit coming, in the next few days, hang on to it. If you're excited for Heroic Villain 2, definitely hang on to that credit, because it's going to be coming any time now. At any rate, I am all done. I need to relax my voice, and I've got some gigs coming up, playing piano for some Christmas shows and whatnot. So I got to practice that shit. Maybe have some dinner. But anyways, it's been a slice. Thank you all one more time. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks for the next Requests Only Sound Booth Theater Live. Until then, ciao.